Good evening. Welcome to the December business meeting of the Macomb Park District Board of Commissioners. As always, our first item is approval of the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
It has been moved to approve the agenda as published. Is there a second?
I second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Then the agenda stands approved as published. Now, the first item on the agenda is an truth in taxation public hearing under the truth in taxation law, which is 35 ILCS 200/18 to 70. The procedures for this are fairly undefined. I have checked with the Illinois Association of Park District legal counsel and a couple of other people to see how we should proceed. We have at present, for the people who are out there watching, we have no one who has appeared, but I am going to hold for 5 minutes to allow anybody that might be on their way. And I'm going to ask that we go ahead and turn off the cameras so that some of us don't embarrass ourselves while on camera. And if somebody does appear for that hearing, we will pick that up right at that moment. So if there is no objection to that from the commissioners, if we would go ahead and go off the air for about 5 minutes here to allow anybody who may be underway to get here. So. All right, we are back and we have had no one appear. I would like, as a matter of record, to explain why the Truth in Taxation public hearing was originally scheduled. Under the Truth in Taxation law, if the dollar amount, and I want to stress that it's the dollar amount that we're dealing with here, exceeds, for an upcoming year, exceeds the preceding year by 105%, we are required to have a hearing. This is not the tax rate. It is the dollar amount. And there are three circumstances this year, sort of confluence of things, that prompted us to take this step. And the first of them is that under the property tax extension limits law, we can increase our levy either 5% or by the CPI amount, whichever is lower. And this year, the CPI amount is 2.1%. Over the last several years, we've been dealing with, it's been approximately 0.7%, so 0.7%. So as the economy has heated up, it's not surprising that we've seen some inflationary pressures. And the 2.1% there gets us almost halfway right there to the 5% amount. The second reason is that there has been a reasonable amount of new construction in the district that's coming onto the tax rolls. And once again, under the PTEL law, we're entitled to tax that at the maximum available rate. And so that pushes us even further. And then the third factor was that the Pella property is now entering the tax rolls, and that's a sizable jump. The director met with City Administrator Torres and consulted back and forth just to make sure that everybody was on the same page and sort of a cross-check for that. And so we felt we should go ahead with the hearing and it will be, once we do the levy here in a little while, that will go up to the county clerk, and that's what will determine any changes in tax rate. I'm not an expert on this, but I wouldn't expect much of a change, simply because there's a lot more out there in what's referred to as the estimated annual valuation, other places called the tax base. So that's why we were having this. So are there any questions on that for anybody, what we're up to here? Not to take advantage of favorable circumstances like this is to leave money on the table, because once we don't do it, we can never go back. It's just the responsible thing to do. So, that having been said, we will move to our regular order of business, and the first item there is the approval of the minutes from our November meeting. Are there any corrections, or is there a motion to approve as published?
Motion to approve.
It has been moved to approve. Is there a second?
Like the second?
All in favor, please?
Aye.
Opposed? Then the minutes stand approved as published. Bills and transfers and monthly financial statements. Commissioner Ham?
Again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I do need to give props to the constraints that we work under each month. It seems like we're running right at or below the amounts for each month, and November's no exception. The consolidated fund, general fund, and corporate funds all have been running at or below. And for year-to-date, which overall, we've also are running better than what we expected. The other accounts look fine. The payroll is up slightly for November, but overall, we are $16,190 better than what we expected. So all in all, again, thanks to Chris and Rachel for maintaining restraints, and we're meeting our budget. Okay?
Any questions for Commissioner Ham? Then hearing none, is there a motion to approve the bills and transfers and monthly financial statements as published? It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the bills and transfers and monthly financial statements as published. A roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hemingway,
Aye.
Commissioner Pettigrew,
Aye.
Commissioner Ham,
Aye?
Commissioner Bortel,
Aye.
Commissioner Weiss.
Aye.
They stand approved as published. Thank you. We have nobody signed up for the standard public presentation to the commissioners. The president's report will be relatively brief. Director Lentz and I have been trying to work on the visioning process. We are behind on it in part because encountering the truth and taxation issue, and also in dealing with the new legislation out of the state on the sexual harassment policy. That policy, we now have guidance from IAPD, their interpretation, one of the benefits of the membership, and we will have that policy in ordinance form in front of you at our January meeting. And we'll obviously get it to you before then so you can take a look at it. We will need to act on it then, so I'll get it to you in email and hard copy fashion, so please do take a look at it. So if there are any questions, you can feel free to contact me in advance so that we can prepare a list of things that we need to look at, because we're going to be pressing the deadline very closely there. The other thing that I'm trying to remember what it was, another one of my senior moments here. We have had some good fortune in the fundraising. I'm not going to step on the director's
Don't do it.
good news here, but it's exciting to watch what she's going to talk about. I think that's been a good thing. And with that, I'm going to be quiet unless there are questions. And then we will move to the director's report.
So, just to roll with what Commissioner Hemming was talking about, we've really been doing a lot of advocacy for the lights out at Veterans Park through the Push for Parks campaign. And I would be remiss if I did not give huge accolades to the staff at Hy-Vee and the work that they are doing. They have been generous enough to pick a freshly made product, I guess you would call it. And for each product that gets sold, a certain amount of money is going to be donated to the lights. And we're talking, not just a month. I think we're going to do several months here in the near future. So we did, in the month of December, it's been for every box of a dozen cookies that you buy, 50 cents gets donated towards the lighting project. We did a wonderful event out at Hy-Vee on the 17th, where we had the youth baseball leagues versus the youth softball leagues to see who could sell the most boxes of cookies. It was hysterical to watch the kids chase down people who were trying to avoid them with their carts and say, buy these cookies. But they were very enthusiastic. I wasn't sure at first if the parents were more competitive or the kids, but all in all, in a 5-hour period, we sold Hy-Vee out of chocolate chip cookies, so that was pretty exciting, but we sold 200 boxes of cookies. So it was a wonderful day, a great event. We were thankful KHQA came out and they did a story on it, so they're helping us spread the word. So it's really been really a wonderful experience thus far. So I believe that pizzas are in our future at Hy-Vee, so that'll probably be the next step, but I have a meeting in the near future, so I'll let you guys know.
This is just going to absolutely kill my waistline,
Yes.
which is already dying a bad death as it is.
It's really been phenomenal to watch people come in and just grab 20 boxes of dozen cookies just because it's going to this cause. So, the community is really stepping up and helping and doing their part. I also have had other organizations reach out to us. Katie Howell sells Disney experience packages, and she's going to, for an entire year, donate a percentage of the revenue to the lighting project. And then Autos in Macomb, they are also going to donate a chunk of money for every car they sell in January. So we haven't worked the details out on that yet, but people who are coming together, and that's what makes Macomb great. People just want to see this get done. So I'm very excited about it, and for the people who have just randomly put in donations online, thank you for that. That's helped. Every bit's going to get us closer too. So I've been working with Mayor Inman. He's helping us set up meetings with McDonough Power and Ameren, and we're going to try to get together with a couple other people to see what other opportunities there are. So hopefully we'll have some good news in the near future for our Little League Diamonds. In a random spurt of generosity, we received a $20,000 donation for foul ball nets at the softball fields. So they've had issues with foul balls going off and hitting little kids in the head. So I got an email randomly the other day, and somebody said, we're going to shoot you a check for $20,000 just because we'd like to see that up at the softball field. So to that family, thank you so much. That's extremely generous. And, if there's anybody out there who wants to do the same for baseball, we would gladly accept that donation. But, so that is extremely generous. I dropped my coffee that day. Okay. You each received a shirt. It was a appreciation for anybody who reached out and worked with us this year, who sent...
I'll hold this up and see if the camera
Yeah,
can get
please
on
do.
it,
It's
because
nice.
it's one of the ugliest things.
But so each of our community partners, if they've been on a committee, if they have donated money, if they've done a sponsorship, if they've volunteered, whoever I could think of, we wanted to say thank you for their belief in the Park District and what we're trying to accomplish here. So a group of us wore them to the business after hours the other night, and they were the talk of the party. Not to take away from Tom Clauden, Mid-America, but we had really cool shirts on, so he's okay. All right. We will be, for those of you who aren't familiar, the Park District typically takes the last day of the week before Christmas as a half day, and we give the staff a week-long vacation for the holidays. With our season, especially this year being as long as it was, a lot of our staff don't have time to take vacation. So this is something that the Park District has done long before me, and I will not be the director to take that away from the staff. So we will be doing that again this year. We'll be closed a half day this Friday up until January 2nd. We'll be back. So I hope that the staff have an enjoyable time. They very much deserve the time off. The IAPD calendars that you guys received, we have a picture in the cover of it, just right there in the entry. So we thank them for getting the word out about the Park District. Yeah, right there in the bottom corner. Yep. And then we were also featured in the IAPD newsletter as their featured Park District. They've been very impressed with the process that we've been going through and the progress that they're seeing. So thank you to them for, thinking it was worth publicizing, I guess. I have to give a shout out to Dean Torsen. Like John said, he was extremely patient and kind and going and sitting down with me and going over the tax levy, as well as Gretchen, our county clerk, who probably received 15 calls from me in 2 days because of this entire thing. So they've been really wonderful to work with, and I appreciate their patience. And then last but not least, when we get back, I've been working with our superintendent of support services, Mr. Armstrong, and we are putting on a management orientation for all managing staff at the Park District. So January 8th and 9th, the Park District will be closed the entire day of the 8th and half day on the 9th for staff training. We're going to do CPR first aid, we're going to do bloodborne, we're going to do slip, trips, and falls, all of the I-Parks safety training, and then we're going to do an annual orientation, just what our vision is for the year and what we expect the events will be doing, and some of the goals that we have for each of the departments. So that's something new, but something that we're excited to bring about and hopefully have a little bit more clarity between all of our departments. So other than that, I'm going to be doing budgets and appropriations for the next 4 to 8 weeks. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Well, good. We're looking forward to you looking forward.
Yes,
to
I am.
doing that. Are there any questions for the director?
Yes. You had mentioned early on, people can send donations. What is the best way for the public to send donations?
If they would like to, they can contact myself. We ask that people, we assume that they probably want the tax write-off for it. So we're working with our foundation that we happen to have a really great relationship with. But the Macomb Area Recreation and Leisure Foundation, they're accepting the donations so that people can use that tax write-off. So they can send us a check. There is a way to donate online. If they go to the Park District page on the water icon, there's a fundraising tab now, so you can go and donate there. Walk into the office, hand us the money. I don't care. We're whatever it means.
We'll come by your house.
I don't know about that. That's we'll meet for coffee, maybe.
Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because the foundation bylaws was the thing that I was trying to remember. And once we get past the sexual harassment ordinance that's state mandated, we will need to begin to address that. And then the three of us that are the trustees for the Everly Park, which would be Commissioners Pettigrew and Ham, we're going to need to, we've now wound up with the materials that we need, so we probably need to arrange a meeting or two to talk about that. That will be independent of the board. But we might do that by scheduling a 15-minute meeting in it, 5:45 and then move into that. But we now have the finance materials and things to go from there, so. I just absolutely thrilled to see the way the community is stepping up right now. So, when I got the text from Rachel about the $20,000 donation, I was afraid the cats in the household weren't going to come out for another week or two because I was kind of running around. So, well, if there aren't any other questions, we can jump right past the committee reports and go to the one business item, which is the consideration of our annual levy, and this is one of those cases where it is necessary to read the whole title into the record. This is ordinance number 324, an ordinance levying and assessing the taxes of Macomb Park District for the calendar year beginning January 1, 2018, and ending December 31, 2018. The preamble, whereas on March 21, 2017, the Board of Commissioners of the Macomb Park District passed the annual budget appropriation ordinance of said district for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2017, and ending December 31st, 2017, and upon said date, the ordinance was duly signed and approved by the President of the Board of Commissioners, said district, signed by the Secretary of said board as required, and the ordinance follows out of that. And this is, for those who are seeing this for the first time, welcome to Fund County. And we levy two specific funds so that the transparency and accountability of the money in those funds is that more readily available. This will be taken up tomorrow to
First thing in the morning.
County clerk, filed, who will then process it and make the decisions that lie within her responsibility. Are there any questions about this? I'm going to pause deliberately. It's not a trivial matter.
I will say that these numbers that are in the ordinance probably will not be the numbers that we see returned to us by Gretchen. So this is just, best case scenario, but there might be a percentage off here or there, so she'll correct them, and then we'll send the agreement over.
That is the responsibility of the county clerk.
What about the percentages that are also listed in some of these? For example, section 6, down below, last paragraph, rate not to exceed 0.005%. The percentages are probably the acronym,
Yeah, those,
just a dollar amount, sorry, throughout the whole ordinance.
right. So what this,
Follow the,
what this ordinance is based off of is our allowable levy, and then I have to percentage it out. So if I have overestimated $100, then that 996,734 might come back 996,712. So, yeah.
Once again, we would deliberately estimate high. Because if we don't, we wind up leaving stuff on the table, and we still want to do that.
She's the one who says what we're actually allowed to levy, yeah.
We send this to her saying, this is what we would like to do. She responds saying, this is what you can do. Anything else we need to? All right, then, is there a motion to approve?
I'd like to move that the ordinance number 324 that is drafted here be approved.
Is there a second?
Board.
Been moved and seconded that the ordinance number 324 be approved. A roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Pettigrew. Commissioner Ham.
Yes.
Commissioner Bortel.
Aye.
Commissioner Weiss.
Yes.
Commissioner Hemingway.
Aye. Ordinance 324 is approved. Now, remarkably enough, it's just a little after 6:30, and we are now at item number 10, which is the open commissioner presentation and discussion of future agenda items. Is there anything that anybody would like to say, add, ask, request?
It was brought to my attention, concern for safety for the children. At the park where the 67 and the 136, there's a fence or there's an opening where the children could possibly run out. And so the request was made if we would consider putting some type of restraint up so that the kids couldn't easily access the freeway.
Yes, we can look into that. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, not a problem. Is that ball 4? Is that the park you're talking about?
Genware
That's not our
is a city property. We did used to have management of that, but that hasn't reverted back. But the issue that you're raising has been raised before several times, and I won't speak, but I do think that there are some historical issues related to that property. But we can relay a message over to Dean
Oh, absolutely.
and,
Yeah.
and go that way.
sounds wonderful. Thank you.
I'd like to also include like an update of that. I know we had been working on the goals of the individual board members' wish list. I didn't know where we were at with that project or process.
With the visioning.
Yeah, visioning.
We've been
process.
delayed because of several things that have come up.
Understand.
But we are going forward. And I may actually come back and ask people for any updated or revised listings that people want to, we can take advantage of the fact that there have been delays if people want to revise things.
Sure.
So if you want to go ahead and do that and feed it to me in the first of the year, then we can do it. And if you did submit it, go ahead and submit them again.
I just didn't know where we were at with that.
Yeah.
Because I know there was other things that had come up.
Yeah.
I get that. So I just was like,
Yeah, if you want, if you want to feed that up, anything new into it, please do so. Then we'll make it as current as we possibly can.
You can add that shelter over the new equipment.
there you go.
There you go.
I was wondering. Is there anything else? Well, then, that leaves it, as this is our last meeting of this year, I want to take the opportunity to say thank you on behalf of the board to our employees and our volunteers. They are the people that make all of this happen. This year, we can also say thank you to an increasing number of sponsors and donors. We are very gratified by the trust and support that's being displayed. I think that's a direct reflection on the kind of job that our staff and employees are doing out there now. I think the new year for the Park District does look bright. There's a lot of things we need to be doing, but I think it's an exciting time to be part of the Park District, and once again, that's due to the work that people do for us. So I want to make sure to thank them, and then wish everybody happy, pleasant cheerful holidays. And ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion.
Has it been moved? Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please?
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas,